Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli back with another review video, and with me, my dad, aka Little Blue. And yes guys, that's right, you yourselves having read the title, and you know exactly what me and him are about to review. This one film, being directed by the Coen brothers themselves, and both you and I, because, we love anything the Coen brothers have done together.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And this one film of theirs from 1996, definitely it would be saying the Mount Rushmore of their movies they've directed.
I'd say.
That right there next to, say, Raising Arizona and Big Lebowski.
Mm-hmm.
And for my own Mount Rushmore, I would probably, True Grit would be in there as well. And yeah, because this film of theirs, being independent and all, well, it's amazing, how much of a huge impact it would leave off when it began in 96. It made film history, and even one of the main characters making her way into the top 50 list of the heroes and villains of AFI, and so on. And by the way, even you probably don't know this because I don't know how many of you viewers would know this too. One of the main characters, the policewoman herself, actually being one of Doug Walker's all-time favorite characters. That right there next to, say, the lawyer from Mockingbird.
Yeah.
So, but yes, guys, that's right. Not to mention that, yes, this one film of the Coen brothers is celebrating its anniversary. My dad and I now finally reviewing from 1996, Fargo. Yeah. So the first things we have to say about Fargo, our thesis and all that, just, yeah, first thoughts, etc. We'll start with you.
Basically, it shows just how bad someone who wants to commit a crime, how many mistakes they can make in a short period of time. It really, in a way, is kind of a dark comedy. And I'm not typically a fan of dark comedies.
For me, I laughed. My rewatch, I chuckled at some moments.
But there's just, these characters are just they're bumbling idiots.
Yes, they are.
The ones that are trying to commit the crime, and basically it's a car salesman who's trying to get money, extort money from his father-in-law, and he ends up, staging a kidnapping of his wife. And the two idiots are, that are criminals, one being Steve Buscemi, whom I love.
Yeah, but the many times you've joined me for these reviews, because, your first thoughts and all, the first time you saw this and what you thought of it and all, just,
Well, I saw it back originally when it was on at the theaters.
Right.
And I had the same thoughts. It was just like, what a bunch of idiots. Trying to pull off the perfect crime, and they couldn't even pull off the imperfect crime. It was pathetic. But that's what made it kind of funny, almost like a dark comedy.
Yeah.
William H. Macy is amazing in this movie.
Of course.
Yeah.
And, of course, the first time you saw this in 96, again, you saw it in theaters in 96.
Yes.
And you loved it instantly. Enjoyed it.
It was a great movie.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And you and I, we've had this talk off camera, because even before Fargo, you were familiar with the Coen brothers' work in filmmaking.
Yes.
Most prominently, as I mentioned, Raising Arizona. Yeah.
Which I'm a big fan of.
Yes.
Huge fan of that movie.
One of your so obviously it's one of your top favorite Coen brothers films.
It is. It's probably my favorite because I laughed so hard throughout from the beginning to the end of that movie.
Especially because not only do you have Frances McDormand in that, you especially have Nick Cage as the main star. That, and also you also really enjoy. Maybe this would be right there next to, say, Raising Arizona. Obviously, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I would say that the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, the way that was filmed.
And the segments and all that.
It was, I don't know what kind of filtration they used on the cameras, but it was amazing. It really was. It was just epic. And the panorama of the desert and this everything. It should have won. It should have won a ton of awards.
Yeah, it did. The film did make its way to the Oscars. A good majority of the Coen brothers films made their way to the Oscars, especially in the case of Fargo. McDormand won for Best Actress. And as I recall, the film was nominated, for Best Picture.
There's an interesting story behind this because the Coen brothers, they're in terms of editing, they came up with a fake name. And
fake name.
A fake name for their editor because they edited all
this
their,
has to
all
do with
their
Fargo?
films. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Fargo and every movie they've ever done.
Oh, okay.
The Coen brothers came up with, and I can't remember the name, but they came up with a fake name for an editor. And they were like, well, we do our own editing. Well, let's just come up with a fake. We'll just come up with a name.
Yeah,
and we'll put it in the credits.
I forget at times that they do most of the editing of their own movies. So
well, they did all the editing for Fargo.
Yeah.
So what happened was,
it's pretty nifty that hey, a writer and director would also do the editing. So
right. So what happened was they had come up with this false name. Fake name for their editor for Fargo, and they were up for best editor. The movie was up for best editor, and it was this fake name they'd come up with, and they were like, "How are we going to do this? If we win, how are we going to work this out?"
They're the ones that came up with the name, so what are you going to do now?
So they come up and say, "Well, we're accepting this award for blah blah blah," which it would have been the logical thing to do, but
who remains anonymous.
Probably would have had to come clean on the fact that hey, look, we do our own editing, but as it turns out, they did not win. So
of course
for best editor. So
no, I mean it would have been great, but at least they still got nominated.
At least they still got nominated.
Nominating is still being nominated is still good at the Oscars.
Yep.
Yeah. As for me, because didn't get to my first thoughts on all of this movie, because yeah, I mean I have seen this before. I do recall like the first time I watched it, it was with me and my mom, and yeah, because I think you and my mom you both saw it in theaters.
I think we did. Yeah, the same time.
Because again, it was '96, so yeah. I mean, at that time you were like. Each of you both have told me that you've been at that time you saw a lot of movies.
We did, yeah, we did.
Yeah, so the first time I watched this movie was with my mom, and as far as I can recall, the first time I watched it, I enjoyed it, and having done my rewatch, and here we are now doing our review, because of course I love this movie. I would say probably be somewhere like. Probably up to top 5 of my favorite Coen brothers films. There's no denying, of course, that it would be way up there, and I assume the same would go for you.
Well, if I'm going with Coen brothers, it will be in the top 5, absolutely.
Right.
Raising Arizona, without question, full stop, is my favorite Coen brothers movie.
Mm-hmm. And my number one, I'm sure I've told you this. My number one is True Grit.
Yep.
Yeah, the remake they did of True Grit was, of course, as we all know, outstanding. So, but again, just revisiting this movie, and yeah, I mean, couldn't have said it better myself, because a good majority of these characters being idiots, the main bad guys, and where the characters reside, like the town folk and all those that reside, like, they're a bunch of nice people,
They are. They're all, Minnesotans.
Minnesotans.
In Minnesota. So they have that...
And a lot of times they say, yeah.
Yeah, they have that kind of bizarre accent, that dialect from the north. But Frances McDormand said that she could not do that accent without that wig. And without playing that role.
I mean, that's
how she did it.
That's understandable, because like you got to have that get up to be in that character. So without it, just like how can you pull it off?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and of course, with the talents themselves from McDormand, Buscemi, Macy, everybody else that was a part of this movie, they were all fantastic, of course. And with the Coen brothers' direction and editing, and with what they've written, and we'll mention this, might as well, because as we all know in the opening, because the movie explains that this is based on a true story, but it's false.
Yes.
Yeah.
Based on a true story, but false.
The Coen brothers intended that.
Of course they did.
Yeah. However, there are some things that happen in this movie that did happen in reality.
Yes.
Like the wood chopper, all that.
Yes, there was a man who was convicted of murdering his wife, and he put her through a wood chopper.
Yes.
I really hope she was dead before he did that. Not to sound really heartless or cold or gruesome, but
yeah,
that is something that
I think the victim would have to be dead before that. So
I would hope so.
Just pointing out the facts, viewers.
Yeah.
And a few murders here and there that how it's shown in this that did happen in reality as well. Besides the woodchopper thing.
Exactly.
Even like I've watched a little bit of behind the scenes, and William H. Macy was, when he learned and saw in the script, it was written on paper that the opening text, this is based on a true story, and turning to the Coen brothers, and they confirmed to him that this was fake, and he said to them at first, like, you can't do that. But they did, so just to poke fun at the viewers and to make them think, and really wanting to have the viewers get invested in this.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if they believe that this is real or not. So, but I'm sure, as we all know by now, it's not. But you know what?
It is not.
The direction that the Coen brothers took, it was for the fun of it and just how the movie itself turned out. That's all there is.
Absolutely.
But yeah, with that and just like I said, where you said dark comedy, yeah, because again, I chuckled at some moments. Did you as well?
Oh, I did too.
Yeah, when you did your rewatch,
especially when
some of
Steve
these
Buscemi got shot in the face.
Yeah, some of the characters, like the way they act and such, they could the way they're delivering their lines at times could be humorous.
And that's so terrible. That is so gross.
But he's the bad guy. He deserves it anyways.
Yeah, he does. He does.
And just everything that's going on in this film, and all because, the whole thing with cars and all that. And of course, when it comes to Officer Marge, and once she takes down the bad guy, and each of these characters, their chemistries and all this, the music and score, fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, the violin, just, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but the more we'll say about it, just for me, and to finish off with the first things I have to say, Fargo, there is nothing like what the Coen brothers specifically brought to this one film of theirs. And of course, nothing against the other films they directed, but definitely, again, this is one of their top masterpieces, and their Mount Rushmore, all the above. So
yeah, it's their what word am I looking for here? It's like Beethoven's Ninth.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, good. That's a good point there. Man, I'm sure you would concur too. But so, with the first things that both you and I have had to say about Fargo done / out of the way, now of course, as always, read the description / the story / overview, and you can do it, of course, since you're here.
Aha. Okay.
Well,
a car salesman's inept crime falls apart due to his henchman's bungling and the persistent police work of a dogged detective.
Yep. All right, so now that we've read the description / the story, now, of course, to dive in and break down the film itself. Yeah, so where do we, we start off, of course, with the opening. So, what are the first things we have to say about where this all begins, besides the text, as we talked about, of course.
Yeah, well, the text is really big, because it gets your attention, because it's based on a true story, which it's not, obviously,
as we just established.
Exactly. But you go ahead with that opening. How that.
Yeah, I'm going to, because well, I mean, this taking place in the winter of 1987 of Minneapolis. And the automobile salesman Jerry Lundgaard. Yeah, Lundgaard. Thank you.
Lundgaard.
Of course, being played by the talented William H. Macy himself.
Amazing actor.
Now, I can't remember, off camera, we've talked about him before. I can't remember, you knew Macy, before this, I assume. Before Fargo.
Yeah, I did. I had seen him act in several things. In fact, there was one that I saw him act in where he portrayed a salesman. And it was a door-to-door salesman.
What a coincidence.
And this was based on a true story. And it was amazing, because William H. Macy, he literally became that character.
Yeah.
And it was amazing to see that. Just like he did in this. He's very recognizable, which makes him a character actor, but when he becomes the character that he's portraying, it's completely different.
Yeah.
And you don't even see him as... It's a little like Harrison Ford. How Harrison Ford is a character actor. You see anything you see him in, you're like, oh, it's Han Solo, or oh, it's
Indiana Jones,
yeah.
or it's Blade Runner.
But you will see him, and he absorbs his character, much like William H. Macy does.
Yeah.
He absorbs that character, and before you know it, you're not even seeing him as, Harrison Ford or William H. Macy. You're seeing them as the character they are portraying, and that's what makes him a brilliant character actor.
Yeah, but also like this is completely different. Like in the case of actors like say Jack Nicholson and John Wayne, I mean the characters that they've played, they're playing themselves, but at the same time they're still playing characters. And just to put it this, the characters that each of them have played, they just have their personalities and all. So
well, you look at
yeah,
and you look at Jack Nicholson in The Shining and compare that to
Joker,
Batman as the Joker, and it's like, and I realized as I watched that, I just went, oh my gosh, he is. Because what I did was I did it in reverse. I had seen The Shining, but I hadn't seen it for years. And it's actually I'm not a horror.
You're not.
I'm not a horror genre fan. I don't like the slasher movies. I don't care for Halloween.
But The Shining is
any of that.
The Shining is an exception.
The Shining is it's a psychological thriller.
Hey, I'm sure you guys have like one horror film that you like. If you're on the same page as him.
Yeah. So
don't we all?
This was a psychological thriller, and you see Jack Nicholson's character. He's sitting at the bar, and just
a little slow tonight, ain't it?
He is so. His character is so Jack Napier, which was the character he played in The Joker.
Yeah.
As the Joker.
Before he became the Joker.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you see Batman, I looked at both characters and I'm like, oh my gosh, he is the Joker. He is literally playing the Joker in The Shining years before Batman came out.
Yeah. Yeah, just like as the 1980s began, so...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, he is a character actor, as is John Wayne, but they have that ability to go beyond their own persona.
Yeah.
And absorb the character that they are portraying, and they become that character.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah, but continuing on point, because Macy's character being in a financial troubled situation, the dealership being owned by his wealthy father-in-law, the father of his wife, Wade Gustavson. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jerry having
embezzled.
Thank you. Hundreds of thousands of dollars from the dealership, and GMAC, having been threatened to withdraw loans for their cars, and the dealership, Jerry managing after, accounting
irregularities.
Yeah. And basically, because, they would suspect that Jerry had been, borrowing money against the cars that he hadn't been sold or hadn't even existed at all, and their serial numbers is not clearly visible on the applications.
Yeah, so he's kind of he's committing white collar crime, and he's embezzling thousands of dollars from the dealership.
Yeah,
he gets into serious trouble. He realizes it's catching up.
Oh, we know, even as the movie begins, we know what's going on with him. We know it's going to be coming later on.
Yeah,
for him,
he somehow hooks up with two hitmen that are bumbling at best.
Yep,
and has them or tells them, hey, if you will kidnap my wife, we can,
he doesn't care if
he doesn't care anything about his wife. He's using her. He wants to get the money, and he's trying to extort money from his father-in-law.
Yeah. I guess for him, he's just unhappy in this marriage and family life, I guess.
Well, I mean, the whole thing, the whole movie is basically, the lesson is, I would say crime doesn't pay, for one. That's the main, which is a little trite.
There you go.
But at the same time, it's just like, if you're going to commit a crime, at least think it out a little better. Than what they did.
Be more specific, and really be a genius at stuff like that.
Or try to. He was, William H. Macy's character, Steve Buscemi, the other character, they didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
They just didn't have a clue. And they completely bungled the whole thing, which really, even like Sherlock Holmes granddaughter would be able to solve that crime.
Yeah,
I'm
so
just saying, and I would say,
or Sherlock's sister. So
well, I'm actually going
Enola
a little farther.
Holmes, so-
Yeah, granddaughter would be like, she'd be like 4 years old, probably. She could solve it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not that difficult. You get to see it from the perspective of someone who's looking in. How some movies will do, they will keep you guessing as to the whodunit until almost the very end.
yeah,
And that's that's kind of like, oh my gosh. But this movie, this puts you in the sort of in the driver's seat where you know exactly what's going on from the beginning.
yeah.
And you're just sitting there and you're just going, oh my gosh.
What what the f?
Exactly. I mean, it's just like, how could you be that stupid?
Mm-hmm.
You would have thought that Jerry,
Yep.
William H. Macy,
Mm-hmm.
would have thought things through just a little better than he did, because it was just so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Of course, and I'm sure you do too, viewers. Yeah, but with what goes on, like, because, and well, by solving his financial woes, because, well, Jerry would concoct a plan by having his own wife, as mentioned, Jean, to be kidnapped and attempting to extort a hefty ransom from Wade, and Jerry being introduced to criminal Gara Grimsrod. I probably butchered his full name,
Grimsrud.
Yeah, being played by Peter Stormare.
Yeah.
And by Native American ex-convict Shep, whom being played by Steve.
Shep Proudfoot being played by Steve Rivas.
Yeah, whom is a mechanic at his dealership, and Shep being a convicted felon currently on parole from Stillwater Correctional Facility.
Yeah, he was a parolee, on parole, so he was already, he had already had that background.
Yeah.
But it was it was interesting to me because if you remember when they kidnapped
Jean.
Kidnapped Jean, Jerry's wife, William H. Macy's character.
Yes.
When they,
I think we've established that already. Like William H. Macy.
They kidnapped her. They were, she panicked and she was hiding in the shower. Now, here's
they thought at first that she went out the window.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's my question for you: when she came screaming and running out of the shower, and she had that shower curtain wrapped around her, and she's running around like a lunatic, and then she runs down and she trips down the stairs and falls. Did you think she was dead at that point?
Well, again, because before having done my rewatch, it had been a while since I've seen the movie, so I did forget about that. But when doing my rewatch, you know what? In all honesty, for a moment, I thought so.
I did too.
Because the tumbling, because like some people could break their necks.
Of course they could, but she was still alive.
Yeah, but she was knocked out. She was unconscious from that fall.
She was.
Yeah, but and then Jerry, because getting back on point, because him traveling to Fargo, the title of the film, and yeah, I should know this because Fargo, of course, being a real place, right? Because
Fargo, North Dakota. Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, of course. I don't suppose you viewers might have traveled to Fargo. I don't know, but
well, the interesting part of this is that
Fargo. No, that's right there, Fargo, North Dakota.
The directors.
Yes, and with me watching a little bit behind the scenes, it was mentioned that even McDormand also brought this up.
That it was every winter in North Dakota was because they were from that area.
Yeah, they were resided there. That's where they were born.
This was filmed in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Okay, which is where the brothers are from. Okay.
Yes.
So they thought, well, okay, they assumed incorrectly, I might add, that where they were going to film it, that it was going to be snow covered and everything else. As it turns out, where they ended up filming it, which was around in Minnesota, it was a warmer than usual winter, and there was
snow, but the temperature felt warm and such.
Right, there was hardly any snow. In fact, when you watch it, there's a scene where they're in a parking lot. and you can see snow all in the parking lot. But if you look closely in the background, there's no snow. There's no snow. And they did a one shot.
I might have to go back and look.
There was one shot they did where they did it in one take because they had to do it where the car pulls out and you can see the tire tracks in the snow. And what had happened was the night before, the crew stayed up all night long and they used a snow machine like they use at a ski resort.
Yeah.
And
or if like they do for any movies,
right?
know.
But mainly they used the snow machines at a ski resort. But they covered this entire parking lot with snow. Now the temperatures were fine for snow, but they just hadn't had any precipitation in that area, so they had to really.
And because they wanted to have snow there, like.
Yes, and they had to improvise. So what they ended up doing, they did that in one take where the car is leaving the parking lot and you can see the tire tracks in the snow. But if you look closely in the background, you will see there is no snow. So they really had a tough time because they wanted
the goal to get this
exactly
to the
maximum.
They wanted
the snow to be in the movie to have that's part of the movie is to have the snow in there
and what they had envisioned.
Exactly.
Yeah, but and by the way, because anything to say, because like the characters that were mentioned, like they don't have that much in this movie, but yeah, whom are played by each Peter Stormare and Steve Rivas. Like, what's say on those characters?
They were good characters. They were dark, as they should be, but especially that was Steve Buscemi's partner.
Yeah, and I was about to say those two, like not enough dark compared to like the two main criminals of this movie.
Yeah, exactly right.
Jean, played by Kristen. I'm sorry, not Jean. Yeah, because Carl Showalter, Steve Buscemi, and the other guy, because I have to pull up the cast. Like, yeah, because again, Steve Buscemi. Because Peter Stormare. Yeah. The two main guys. Because almost forgot. Because Steve Buscemi and Peter Stormare, they were both excellent.
They were really good
as those criminals.
But they were still bumbling.
Yes, they were.
They were idiots, especially.
Yes, he was.
Especially Steve Buscemi's character. And I love Steve Buscemi as an actor. He is so
Don't we
good.
all?
He is so good. He is like...
And not to mention that Fargo was Steve Buscemi's fourth film he did with the Coen brothers.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the next one after this he would do with the Coen brothers would, of course, be Big Lebowski.
Who was the... Okay, so you need to help me here because my mind's...
I'll try.
My mind's drawn blank.
I feel you sometimes.
No. William Dafoe and Steve Buscemi.
That's
something about them.
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. Yeah. Willem Dafoe. He and Steve Buscemi. There is something about them that they remind me of each other, almost like they could be brothers. You know?
Yeah.
But they do have a difference in how they act and how they approach things. But I mean, Willem Dafoe he's very dark.
Yeah.
He's very dark. Steve Buscemi, not quite so. He's more like a bumbling criminal.
Yeah. But at least hey, as an example, like his voice performance is Randall Boggs. Like, yeah, because Randall being just menacing in Monsters Incorporated. So
Oh, absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely. He was priceless.
Oh, and what about Con Air?
Oh, yeah. Con Air, he was fantastic.
Yes.
Yes.
His character, he has a history of, like, just being a psychopath. Like, yeah.
And he has... And what about Armageddon?
Well, yeah. I mean...
When he has the space psychosis, and he's just like...
I mean, his character, Armageddon, is a good character, so, yeah.
His character is a good character.
Yeah.
But he's a good guy, but he kind of loses it when they're in space. And he's sitting there and he's like, hey, I got the front row here, to see the destruction of Earth, and you're sitting there and you're like, are you kidding me?
Are you mental?
Yeah, but he was, because he had what they called space psychosis, which is an actual
space madness.
Space psychosis, which is an actual condition.
Yeah. I've most probably heard space madness. That's another term. But, I mean, Steve Buscemi and, again, Peter Stormare, because both of them excellent. And even like when looking at the behind the scenes, like Peter Stormare got attached to doing Fargo because I mean the Coen brothers they saw him doing like stage performances and all that.
Yeah.
And if you would know about this.
Yeah, I did not know about that specifically, but I know a lot of directors. They will draw from a pool of talent that they see on stage. That's how Patrick Stewart became Captain Picard in Star Trek.
And even with Star Trek, incorporating Shakespeare.
Yeah, I mean the two producers were sitting there and they were seeing him and they looked at each other and said, "I think we just found our captain."
We found our captain of the Enterprise.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. And the fact is, even Gene Roddenberry, he at first did not want Patrick for the show. Well, I will not have him, as he said, to quote Gene.
Yeah, and the funny thing of, and I don't want to go down a rabbit hole here on Star Trek.
I wouldn't either.
But I will say this, in terms of Patrick Stewart playing Jean-Luc Picard, I thought, how do you square that? A British actor, a clearly British actor, playing the part of a Frenchman. I mean, could they not? Patrick Stewart is a consummate performer on stage and on screen. What, could he not pull off a French accent?
Well, I'd like to think that in Star Trek, his father is British and his mother French. So, I mean, even like his father was.
I'll give you that. That's one way of looking at it.
Because even like in that one episode in season 6 where Picard has a vision, like welcome to the afterlife, Jean-Luc, you're dead. That episode with Q.
Yes.
Like we see a vision of his father, and yeah, he's speaking British. So I can tell. So.
Well, there's also the scene where Tasha Yar, during her memorial service, at the end of her memorial service, Captain Picard, he just kind of looks off and he says to himself, "Au revoir, Lieutenant," which is goodbye in French. But the way he said it, I thought, okay, I can buy that. He's got, and you hear him speak French a few times in The Next Generation.
Yeah.
So you start to say, okay, yeah, like you said, it's like one parent is British, the other parent is French.
Yeah, because I swear the actor who's playing Picard's father, like that's his natural voice, like British and all. So. And
it doesn't matter because everybody loves Patrick Stewart as Jean-Luc Picard,
or Charles Xavier.
You just accept it. It's just like,
yes.
I don't care. That's Captain Picard. Patrick Stewart, Captain Picard, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah.
Sorry. Didn't mean to get carried away.
Yeah. We go from Fargo to Star Trek, but hey, there you go, because like with what we're talking about and all, but yeah, but again, it's like the criminals themselves, and yeah, because both of them being bumbling, but especially because in the case of Peter Stormare's character, because he's definitely got a menace in him, because just being a psychotic killer and all, because
his presence on screen is proof enough for that. He played a really good Khan, I will say.
Khan?
Yeah, Khan
Noonien Singh?
No, convict.
Convict.
We are talking about the same guy that had he was a convicted felon, right?
He has blonde hair, so.
Oh no, that's the guy.
I'm saying Peter Stormare.
Okay, Peter. Sorry, I had my characters confused. Yeah, he was, and he smoked all the time, right?
Yeah.
Smoked cigarettes.
They mentioned mentioned a car at one point as they're on the road, like Pancake House.
Yep.
Yeah. So
remember that well.
That most prominently.
But he was a good bad guy. He
yes.
Really was. But still bumbling, just like Steve Buscemi's character.
But definitely Buscemi being the biggest bumbling.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, when he got shot in the face, I'm like, oh, he's dead.
We'll get to that fully when we get there. But because and also Jerry's wife, Jean, played by Kristen Rudrow. I might be butchering the last name because
show me there.
That's right.
Kristen Rudrow.
Yeah. Anything got much to say on Jean? Because we don't get that much of her, but. The personality of her and the type of character she is, like, man, because...
She had the accent down for that part of the Northeast. It was just... it was... They all did. And I don't know how many people they had, who were native to that area, but They pulled it off really well.
Yes, they did.
Especially William H. Macy and the sheriff.
Yeah, and the lines that the Coen brothers gave Macy, his characters, like, oh man, that's great.
You're darn tootin'.
Yeah, so even like he stutters at times.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, well, with Jerry, because again, having traveling to Fargo, North Dakota, because again, the hiring of 2 men to kidnap his wife, well, unbeknownst to Shep, because, well, Peter's character would arrive in Fargo being accompanied by the fellow criminal Carl, and, you know, because whom would berate Jerry for showing up an hour late, but apparently, because to Jerry, he was told that it would just, like, it would be this time, like, it got mixed up, so, well, you know, Carl and Gator, how's his name? Gare.
And
okay.
they agreed to do it.
They would express skepticism.
With some skepticism, but they agreed in exchange for a new Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra and a $40,000 cut of the alleged $80,000 ransom.
Yeah. But however, well, Jerry, he would intend to demand a much larger sum for his wealthy father-in-law, Wade, and whom being played by the late Harv Presnell. Yeah. Did you see, or, like, you knew Harv, like, before the film, I assume?
I had seen him act in other things, yes.
Uh-huh. Even, like, what they were saying the behind the scenes about him, just, like, you know, praising him and how amazing he was in this movie.
A very professional actor.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, because his father-in-law, because, like, yeah, and by keeping most of the money for himself, well, then Jerry, you know, having been trying to raise money by prompting a real estate deal, which involving the 40 acres parking lot in Wayzata, yeah, and to Wade, and Stan Grossman, who being played by Larry Brandenburg.
Brandenburg, as he's an executive working for Wade. And went to all of his investment deals, and Jerry tries to call off the kidnapping after Wade agrees to the investment with a loan of $750,000. But he's too late, as Shep did not have any alternate contact details for Gare.
Yep. As it turns out.
Yeah, Wade intends to buy the property himself.
And by giving Jerry only a finder's fee, in which is not enough to pay off the debts.
Exactly.
Yeah. And with them on their way to Minneapolis, well, Carl and Gare, they would stop at a Brainerd, and they would have sex with 2 prostitutes. Because even, like, Carl did mention that they like the mention of the Pancake House, they do this and that, and they get laid.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Then eventually they would kidnap Jen from her house, and I mean, yeah, that was. I mean, we would describe that sequence there where they're kidnapping her a bit intense, right?
It was intense, yeah. It was. But it was also kind of comical, the way she was carrying on screaming, and she jumps out of the shower, and she's wrapped up in the shower curtain, and, you know, she ends up tumbling down the stairs, and you think,
take off the shower
She's
curtain,
dead, you know,
lady.
But she wasn't dead, but you sure thought she was.
Yeah. And also, when I did my rewatch, for a moment, I thought as well that she jumped out the window.
Yep.
Yeah, but, and again, because like we were saying earlier, because you asked me, and because, again, I felt as though that, for a moment, that she did die from the tumble. But no, that turned out not to be the case.
Right.
So, then afterwards, and after kidnapping, you know, Jen, because then with them on the run, because you can take it from here if you want to.
Well, the Minnesota State Patrol officer stops them because of the car's license plate.
Yeah, the car that was brand new.
It was brand new, and Carl had not installed the temporary license plate.
No.
So when Carl's attempt to bribe the trooper fails,
I think a policeman would not be dumb enough to the whole bribing thing.
Yeah. So here's where you really see how stupid they are.
Yeah.
Gary, he kills the trooper. It's like, I don't want to fool with this. You know, kills the guy.
This shit isn't working. Just like, just blow his brains out.
As Carl is moving the trooper's body off the road, he is seen by a couple passing by in their car. The driver in that car was an extra, but he also plays the role. He plays one of the behind the scenes guys in the movie.
Oh.
Yeah. And you need to look that up and see.
I was obviously in the cast.
Yeah,
so.
he was. Well, no, he's not in the cast. Here's the interesting part.
Uncredited, I would presume.
No, he is credited, but they used a symbol. They used a symbol that was kind of it was the same symbol that Prince used when he was calling himself the artist formerly known as Prince. And so there was this rumor, since they were from Minnesota and Prince was from Minnesota, they thought,
oh God,
Prince he played like the guy that was dead they thought he played one of the victims.
Does that guy look like Prince to you? Because no, what were the people thinking?
But it was funny, and the Coen brothers did that intentionally, of course.
Yeah.
But no, they just used that, and it was like a sideways symbol, and everybody saw it in the movie, and they thought, oh my gosh, Prince Rogers Nelson played in that, and he just didn't want a credit for it, and they put him in it because he was from there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't him.
And then, because you have Gare, chasing the couple, because, they're victims, and Gare, of course, is not going to let them get away with that.
Right.
And, at one point, because he lost them, because the lights went out, well, that's because they crashed. The car was wrecked on the side of the road. And, well, the husband, as you said, got out and ran. Gare shot him, and by looking in the car, the wife was still in there, shoots her too. The screen goes black. Yeah. And thus, after that, and with the music playing, we would then be introduced to the heroine of this film herself, the policewoman herself, Marge Gunderson.
Played by Frances McDormand.
And also, the wife of Joel Coen.
She's 7 months pregnant. She's in bed, asleep, with her husband.
And
and she's awakened by the phone.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and mention it, even though we will again, but at the end, towards the end of the movie, because by that point, 2 months away until they have the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But what do we have to say about Marge Gunderson in a whole? Because, she's...
Well, her character was very strong.
Wholesome.
Clearly.
And
very much so, but very strong. She loved her husband loved her.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a very good life together, but she was the sheriff of Fargo, and she had to do her job.
Yeah.
And her husband knew that, and he respected it. And when she got out of bed to go answer, to go on this call where they found the bodies, her husband said, "Well, let me get you." She said, "Will you sleep?" Which if it had been me, I would have said, "Okay, all right, good night," and I'd fall asleep. But
I probably would be like that too sometimes. Wouldn't we all sometimes?
Well, I don't know.
It all depends.
If we're expectant fathers, it would probably be a little different. But
you've got a good point there.
He actually said, and I thought this was really nice the way they worked this into the story. He said, let me get up. And he says, "No, I'm going to get up. I'm going to fix you some eggs. You need to eat before you go."
And breakfast being an important meal, especially on account that she's pregnant, so she's got to eat.
She's eating for 2. So he gets up, he fixes breakfast, and the next thing you know, you see them eating breakfast together, and it's like, how much time did you need here? They woke you up in the middle of the night or early in the morning about this murder, and
you're still at the house.
Breakfast? Yeah. But she does get up and leave. So
yeah.
And ends up with her deputy, and they go investigate this murder.
With her correctly deducing that the dead trooper was ticketing a car with the dealer plates, and her later learning that the 2 men driving a dealership vehicle checked into a nearby motel, the Blue Ox. And because with the 2 girls in place to call the Shep, and after questioning the girls, and learning that, that the 2 men, according to those 2 prostitutes, that they were heading to the Twin Cities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Marge visiting Wade's dealership and just wanting to understand if, any new car with dealer plates had been reported missing recently. And, where Shep finds ignorance and Jerry nervously insisting no cars are missing. And while in Minneapolis, Marge would reconnect with an old friend of hers, Mike Yangatia. I might have butchered the last name of some, but
I remember.
Being played by Steve Park, who, they were high school classmates.
Yeah, I remember that scene very well.
And, because Mike had seen Marge on the news.
Yeah, and he was
Starstruck.
Clearly starstruck, because he was just totally
Awkwardly trying to romance her before breaking down and telling that
Yeah.
his wife died. Yeah, they would meet up at a restaurant, and even like he for a second wanted to sit in the same booth with her, because
yeah. Even if she was even remotely interested in him, which she was not.
no, and that
he
I mean
would-
that shows you how a good
he-
loyal wife.
Totally killed the mood with the whole wife dying thing. That was just
It turned out to be like false, kind of, because when
I know,
when
but it's
Marge
still, you
was
don't bring that up if you're trying to
not
impress
as
somebody.
not very wise,
Not at all.
And by the way, because like also like anything more to say on Marge's husband, because Norm Gunderson being played by John Carroll Lynch.
Yeah,
because
and I had seen him act before, but his character, he's
I know I
he's,
have
he's
too.
He's an artist, obviously.
his character, yep.
His character's an artist, and you see how he supports his wife, even though she's in danger. She's her job.
Because this is the police we're talking about.
by definition, her job it entails danger,
Exactly.
and but he supports her.
Yeah.
As
One way or the
as
other.
she supports him in his pursuit of his life pursuit.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was a really cool. They were really a nice couple
Yes.
in
On-screen couple.
in the face of adversity, because they faced a lot of adversity in this movie with everything that was going on,
Yeah.
and you just saw it as that's great. That's beautiful. That's how a marriage should be.
Yes.
You didn't see them arguing or
No.
throwing vases or plates at each other. They didn't do that.
Or
They
slap in the face.
exactly. Beating them over the head with a frying pan or a
Rolling
pin.
pin.
Pin. Yeah,
The Punch and Judy skits. like-
Exactly. They got along. They were in harmony. So
Exactly.
they drew strength from each other. And she,
the power of love and bond just...
there you go. And I liked how the Coen brothers portrayed that in the movie. It was really good. It came across as very sincere, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And even like there's a mentioning where Norm, like, something to do with this artwork being submitted or something, right? Because,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, you could better explain this.
Yeah,
Obviously.
it was just that, but he was more concerned with her.
Mm-hmm.
He was much more concerned with her, which was to me was very sweet.
And, basically, she comes before, like, say, his work.
That's exactly
And the
right.
same would go for her.
And I think anybody that if they're thinking about getting married, or they think, well, what's it like to be a husband, to be a devoted husband? I think he portrayed it well.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh. And back on point, because, in light of the 3 murders, because so far in this movie, there have been 3 murders that have happened. And Carl demanding Jerry to hand over the entire $80,000, and Jerry telling Wade the kidnappers have demanded $1 million, to quote Dr. Evil. But Jerry, contacting Wade and saying that the kidnappers insist on, dealing only with Jerry. Well, yeah. And Wade accepting this arrangement at first, but later would change his mind, and then Shep finding Carl with a call girl in Minneapolis hotel room, and then just beating the shit out of him, and even with a belt. Even like then getting in a fight with someone across the hall, just God. And bringing Shep to the attention of the police, and Carl angrily calling Jerry and demanding that he bring the damn money immediately, and Wade insisting on delivering the ransom himself, and, that scene. Carl
meets Carl at a parking garage.
Yeah.
And that's literally where I thought, okay, well, that's it for Steve Buscemi's character.
But surprisingly, no.
No, not at all.
I mean, Wade came with a gun.
Which made it funny, because still can't get over that scene.
Like you said, dark comedy.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my gosh, he just shot him in the face. He's done.
Like being shot in through the coat, and even I like the detail, like the fabric from the jacket and all, exploding just from the gunshot. And man, because at least you know, the last bit of strength Wade could have, and with the gun, just shooting right, like it's right here, like at Carl's face here, like bottom of the chin. So, and yet, just Carl just like shoots him more times, and Wade's done for. Wade is done for. So, but I mean, because with what you said, like the very first time you saw it, you just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I like I said, I thought that, oh, well, okay, there's Steve Buscemi. His character's done. You know, exit stage left. That's it.
But nope. Nope. That was I wouldn't say twist, but would I, or like a surprise? You know,
it was kind of a twist. Yeah, it was kind of a twist.
You think that a small guy like Carl would get his ass beaten, but no. I'll put it. It was a surprise. The other way around.
Because you're like, oh my gosh, she's still alive.
Yeah, and even like, you know, because in the case of Jerry, because this is not exactly what he intended for to happen, you know, and as this proceeds, he does him having his moments and just lose like his anger and all, like, you know. And I wouldn't say that I'm right when I say this, that he did not intend for there to be murders, and in the case of his wife and his father-in-law.
Right.
Yeah. There was no mentioning, like, this, like, he, obviously, like, there was no mentioning at all of, like, death on them, so no killing. But knowing Carl and Gare, because knowing them, because they'll do it and they'll stop at nothing, and if there has to be killings, then they do so.
Yep.
Yeah. Even like, yeah, because Jerry, when he arrives there, even like, say, like at the parking garage, even like the innocent guy and at the gate, like even he gets killed, you know, because
collateral damage, you know. So.
Exactly, yeah, and you know, just with what goes on there, and again, Jerry having arrived and, you know, having discovered that his father-in-law is killed, and even, Carl discovering the bag that he took from Wade, containing the millions of dollars as promised. And
$1 million, yeah.
Then he would bury most of the money, then after taking the $8,000 due to them, and, you know, by the side of the highway. And that moment where he's, like, looking from that side and the other, because it just keeps on going, so...
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And then, like, Marge would then learn from a friend, yes, because that... her high school classmate had lied, so... And that he has no wife.
Right.
No mentally ill.
Mentally ill. Reflecting on this, Marge returns to Wade's dealership, and agitated Jerry again insists no cars are missing, and tells Marge he will double-check the inventory. Marge sees Jerry driving off the lot and calls the state police.
Fleeing from the interview.
Exactly.
Then at the cabin, because Carl finding that Gare, even I should have known this was coming, like, even on my rewatch, that, you know, Jean was going to die.
Yeah, he killed Jean.
Because she would not shut up.
Right.
And Carl saying that they should split up and you know, leave immediately, and then them arguing over who will keep the Sierra. Like, seriously, you're gonna argue over a car and such. You have more than just, say, one car, you know. And then Carl using his injuries as justification. I mean, who can blame him? Because he literally got shot, and this is uncomfortable for him, obviously.
Obviously, yeah.
This is the bottom of his chin and all. So yeah, and but, you know, and rightfully so, insulting Gare, and then attempting to leave with the car, but, well, Gare then killing Carl with an axe, and the screen going black as he kills him.
Yep. So there's where he exited stage left.
Yes, exit stage left, as Snagglepuss says.
Exactly.
And you want to take this from here to the next, like, what happens next and all?
So Marge drives to Moose Lake, tipped off by a local bartender who overheard a customer brag about killing someone.
Right.
She sees the Sierra, then discovers Gare feeding Carl's body into a wood chipper.
You see his shoe and leg.
You can't,
and the blood that's spewing out.
You can't unsee that. That's what's so dark. That's probably what you take away from this movie. You can't unsee that. There's no way to unsee that. But she discovers Gare feeding Carl's body into a wood chipper, Gare attempts to flee, but
Even like Gere did manage to hear Marge like telling him to surrender. Even with that, the wood chippers can be loud, and when pointing out to Gere, like pointing the symbol on her toboggan. So
Marge shoots him in the leg and arrests him, and then shortly after, Jerry's arrested at a motel outside Bismarck, North Dakota.
And by this point, Gere was outnumbered. So
right, and Jerry's arrest is it's hilarious. I mean, you almost feel sorry for the guy because he just breaks down. I mean, he's just like this whimpering. You know, he knows he's been caught, and he was not a criminal to begin with.
No,
but he got himself into this crime ring. You know, he got himself into this, and
but that still doesn't make him a criminal. Like,
well,
in a different way.
He made himself a criminal by doing what he did
in a different way.
Exactly. So
the way he got himself into this and all that still marked him as a criminal.
So as it happens, Marge's husband Norm tells her the Postal Service has selected his painting of a mallard for a 3-cent postage stamp, and is dejected that his friend's painting won the competition for a 29-cent stamp. Marge reminds him that smaller denomination stamps get used to make up the difference between the face value of old stamps and the new cost of first-class postage. Norm is reassured, and the couple happily anticipates the birth of their child. So,
and again, by right at the end of this movie, they're 2 months away. Those are the last words we get in this movie. 2 months away.
Perfect example of how husband and wife and vice versa support each other. There's even when they have, where Norm has his artwork has been selected for a postage stamp, a 3-cent postage stamp, but yet his friend is like a 29-cent postage stamp. But then Marge, she helps him to see the silver lining in the cloud.
Yeah,
and it's like she shows him how to make lemonade from lemons. When life, and that's an old saying, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade, because you have to find the positive in all of the negative. You have to find that positive. So that was a big takeaway from that movie for me, because they were each other's pillar. They could lean on each other.
Yeah,
because all the craziness going on around them, Marge was like, I mean,
even though we don't see what goes on Norm's side, but we can only assume.
But he's there for her, and that's what we do see, and that's what's important.
Also, want to mention this too, because talking more about them, the chemistry and the scenes they have, because that one part where Norm actually pays a visit to his wife at the police station and they have lunch. Yeah, he got Arby's, and what she got, worms and all, because you know what I'm talking about. Of course.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. even some scenes where because they eat at a restaurant. Even when she's at a hotel, she asks whom she's on the phone with, the restaurant downtown, because again, her being a pregnant woman, she's got to eat. So
correct.
And the other characters to acknowledge quickly, because we did not acknowledge Scotty, Jerry's son. Anything really to say on him? I mean, there's not that much of him, but still, we've got to, of course, acknowledge him.
Yeah, I know.
And Scotty being played by young Tony Denman. Yeah.
Good actor, and it was a good. Like you said, you don't really see much of him, but he's there.
And the poor kid, because knowing what he's going through, even by the end of that movie, he lost his grandfather, his mother, and knowing what his dad has done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So sad.
And some of the others, some of the policeman characters, Lou, Lou, and the others,
Bruce Bond.
Yes.
There were several actors that I saw that I had recognized, that I had seen them in other things, and they were not like A-list actors, what you would call A-list. I mean, and I'm sure they are they're fine actors in their own right, but they're not that you would see and recognize. Oh, that's I recognize them from this or that. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, but to me, that's what makes the movie. That's kind of the backbone of the movie, is the supporting cast.
And the three victims that were killed, like the state trooper being played by James
Galk.
Yeah, and victim in the field, J. Todd Anderson.
Right.
Yeah.
And the victim in the car, Michelle Suzanne Ledoux.
Yes, and like you said about the victim in the field, that was the husband, because with what you said about him and like the what was it, the symbol, because the whole thing of Prince.
Oh yeah,
you said earlier. Like,
well, he was not in the field. He was actually
he's the one that ran. So,
yeah, he was the driver initially when they pulled up, and so he worked as a
and saw Carl carrying the body of the state trooper.
Right, he did.
You see the horrific looks on their faces.
I have to look it up, but he was behind the scenes. He was like in a production. He worked in production.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
But they used him as an extra, and he's credited in the movie. It looks like it's the Prince symbol, but it's turned sideways on the credits. And so
I will have to.
Oh my gosh, they had Prince.
I will have to go back and look at the credits, but
yep, you should.
And I was gonna say and with what you said, I like when sometimes with whatever goes on, like there can be some crew members, whatever goes on, like in the case of live action films, that they can sometimes be an extra.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, like, hey, like, in comparison to, like, say, animation, sometimes, most prominently, like, say, from Pixar and DreamWorks, they'll have their workers voice some characters.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there you go. That's a good comparison there. Best example. But, yeah, that's all she wrote. So, Fargo itself, our final thoughts and words. Well, I'll start with you. What say you?
It was a really good, and I would call it a dark comedy. And I'm not typically a fan of dark comedy, but this was really good. And it
all depends on the mood and vibe of dark comedies.
The character development in this film is above reproach. It's amazing, and the fact that it was nominated for Best Picture should say everything. So if you've never seen the movie, I highly recommend you watching it.
Yeah. Luckily, a decade later and just 11 years, after the Coen brothers did Fargo, they would end up having a movie of theirs win Best Picture, No Country for Old Men, as we all know.
Yep, exactly right.
And even though the film didn't win Best Picture, as was mentioned, McDormand, she rightfully so, won the Oscar.
Right.
Yeah, but again, the fact because she won the Oscar for, it was leading role? Yeah, because, my point being is that, it's like when the movie starts, we don't immediately see Marge.
No, we don't.
No.
That's not always the mark of a leading lady.
Exactly.
In the fact that you can come into a film later, and still be considered or nominated as a role as a supporting actress or a leading actress, that's huge. That's really huge.
Yeah. Again, I'm pretty sure it was either a supporting role or leading role for McDormand. Like, do you recall?
I don't recall specifically.
I remember, there'll be a text.
Yeah, there will.
Just in case. It always comes in handy with the post-editing. But, yeah, of course. So, but anything else you've got to say, your final thoughts?
No, nothing else.
All right.
I would go ahead.
Before we do the stars, I need to get to my final thoughts, of course. Me, because, I couldn't have said it better myself like you, because, for me, this movie of the Coen brothers, it's definitely one of their top masterpieces. And like I said, it's definitely, like, for any of us, it would be in our top 5 favorite films of the Coen brothers. It'd be in the Mount Rushmore of their movies that they've directed. It's definitely a awesome classic film and all that to come from the mid/late 90s from the Coen brothers themselves. This film, and the fact that we think at first this is based on a true story, it's not. But it's just, despite all that, and with what we said early on, it just makes the movie just awesome and epic. The casting, fantastic, of course, from McDormand, Macy, Buscemi, everybody that was a part of this film. The music and score, again, just fantastic, with those violin chords, but the rest of it. The set and location of Fargo, Minneapolis, and all that, North Dakota, excellent. Some stuff that you mentioned, like when it came to what they did in behind the scenes, the snow, everything.
Yep.
The dark comedy to it, as you most prominently were talking about, the unexpected moments, the moments that, you know what, I'm sure maybe some of you, how could you not? You did have some laughs and chuckles, like you and I did. So, yeah, and the moments that when you're following this movie, just like, what next and all that, and just how wholesome it is, especially for Marge and Norm. Is all that what?
Yeah, I was going to say, you were saying wholesome. I'm like, I wouldn't call this movie wholesome, but
Well,
you're talking about the relationship between
yeah,
Marge
I was
and
building,
Norm.
leading
I
to
got-
saying that.
Sorry.
Yeah, with what you said, because about,
Right.
the wholesomeness, like, when it comes to, like, the chemistry that Marge and Norm have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that. And with what the Coen brothers brought to it, it's great, we gotta see more of that in movies.
I agree.
Yeah. The gruesomeness, and you didn't even, like, say... Yeah, we didn't mention this. Carl definitely had a big potty mouth.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Whew. Definitely did.
That's coming out of Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, exactly right.
But that's why we love the dude.
I know.
He's a legend.
He is.
Oh,
He is.
yeah, just, you know what? Need I go on still? This movie itself from the Coen brothers, excellent from beginning to end, just all the above. It's definitely one of the, like, top magnum opuses of theirs.
It's a keeper.
There you go. Yeah, and now how many stars we give, our final thoughts and words done, how many stars we give Fargo? Start with you, of course.
4.5 out of 5.
4.5 out of 5? I mean, you do the 5 out of 5 stars, so...
Yeah, but I'm doing 4.5 out of 5 this time.
Okay, and as for me, boy, I don't care. 10 out of 10 stars for me. That makes sense. It seems right.
Yeah, it does.
There you go. Even
It
though
does.
yours is 4 out of 5 for me, I'm giving...
4.5.
4.5.
Not 4.
Well, I was talking fast.
4.5 out of 5.
I was talking fast anyway. Yeah. So 4.5. Yeah, for you and for me, it's 10 out of 10. That's just me, and I'm sure you guys would probably feel the same way too. You'd give it a 10 out of 10. But yeah, so how many stars we give it, and what about you guys? What did you yourselves think of Fargo itself? The first time you watched it, was this one of the first Coen brother films you watched? What are your fondest memories? The first time you watched it, like maybe in theaters or when it came out on video, DVD, Blu-ray, and all that. Where would this movie be in your list of your top favorite Coen brothers films? Is this one of your favorite movies to have Steve Buscemi, William H. Macy, Frances McDormand, favorite moments, and the first time you watched it, you did not expect all that was to come from this movie. It's dark comedy, all the above. Yeah, and with all that me and my dad have had to say about this movie, and just, again, what did you think of the movie itself with what me and him, we've had to say, our review? And yeah, what did you think of our review of Fargo? Leave comments and give this review video a like, as always. And with all that being said, guys, we thank you very much for watching our review of Fargo. We hope you guys enjoyed our review of Fargo. Yeah, more review videos are coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and we will see you guys in the next video/review. And, well, stay tuned, because later tonight, what I'll be reviewing next just by myself, let's just say, to best describe it, this being Sony Animation's first movie. I'm sure you know, but wait and see. But yeah, thanks for joining, of course, and reviewing...
My pleasure.
This Coen brothers film that's right next to your all-time favorite.
Now you're darn tootin'.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah! All right. And any final words?
I must be off.
He says that for me again. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Happy anniversary to Fargo. And peace out. Yeah.